Welcome back to the Isn't That Rich podcast. I'm your host, Jill Franks, and today Ashley McVicker and I are talking about some end of the month tips on how you can prepare for the new month. So by the time this airs, it'll be the end of March. Have you ever heard that saying where you should prepare for the next day the night before? Like before you go to bed, you should get your clothes laid out, like have your meals prepped.
Get
so
your
then
coffee
like
pot ready.
Yeah. So you're like to-do list starts the night before. Well, it's kind of the same thing financially from month to month too. So how do you prepare this month to start the next month off on the right foot?
Yeah, I think that when you're looking at your finances and when we talk about finances, we often talk about budgeting and it's like, what am I going to do at the beginning of the month?
Right.
But I think a lot of how you go into budgeting has to do with how you ended up, like you're saying, at the end of it, because a lot of the time you'll start a budget or something or you'll have a vision for what you want your month to look like financially, and
things happen.
It just doesn't always go how you want it to go.
Exactly.
But the nice thing about this is, you can just review, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? And that's how you adjust. I think people just always want to start fresh and like, I'm just going to start fresh. Well, yeah. You gotta figure some things out.
Right. And if you are planning for the month and it's already started, you're already too late, because sometimes it's like, it's already, well into the month before you get your budget. You've already got, exactly. So setting it up the month before is the best way to do it. And we have all the tips for you. And it's kind of just a checklist of things to do at the end of the month, what we'll be going through today.
Yeah. The first one, just review your monthly expenses. I think it's so easy just to get on your online banking, pull your statement. I mean, you'll be shocked at how many times you probably like swiped your debit card or saw an ACH draft. Like, just having a visual picture of line items of what you spent all month long. Check it out.
Yeah. And it's the best way to set your budget up. And I know we've had episodes about how to like prepare for your budget or set a budget. And sometimes it says take the past 3 months of your credit card statements and your bank statements to see what you're really spending, and highlight those things that do bring you value or the things you want to. And then you can cut the things that you didn't highlight. Like, how do you not spend on those moving forward?
Yeah, I have done that before with the bank statements and the credit card statement, because that's where I spend like most of my food money.
Is the credit card.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I really have to back off the food, because if you're kind of going week to week, you think, oh, I'm not spending that much money. But when you look at it, if you are viewing your finances through a monthly lens, it's kind of like, wow.
It's eye-opening for sure.
I need to maybe back off on some things. So just seeing it is really beneficial to do at the end of the month.
Yeah, knowing where your money is going every day.
Yeah.
Is so important. And then that's another way to check for fraud. If there's things that you didn't realize were still happening, maybe you thought you canceled a subscription or whatever, like now's the time to do that. You can reevaluate.
Yeah. I think what's nice about credit card apps, and then even on our bank account or our bank app at Farmers, you can see like a pie chart and just see what your money is looking like. So if it was food, if it was makeup, if it was housing, whatever you spent most of your money on or spent more than you realized you spent on something, it just gives you a nice visual for the next month.
Yeah, I love that. The MyFSB mobile app has a budget on it. So you can actually, like, if you review your monthly expenses at the end of the month, you can go back and set your new budget there, which is kind of great. Yeah, readjust. So the second one is to pay all your outstanding bills. So it's a great time, before the new month set, instead of like tracking spending into the next month, pay your bills right now while you can, before anything else hits.
Yeah. You don't want your bills to roll over into the next month, because that's just dipping into your money for that month.
Right.
I think the best thing you can do for your finances, I mean, I'm going to sound like a just dumb blonde girl in here saying this, but like pay your bills.
Yeah.
When they're,
Well, I have a rule in our house, and Tom and I are pretty strict about it, is if we get something in the mail, you write the check that night. Like, you don't let the bill sit. We have this like basket where all of our mail goes into, but if there's a bill or something comes, you write the check that night, or you go online and pay that bill that night, the night of, even if it's not due for 2 weeks, because things happen. Right. That could get lost in the shuffle of things. So we pay the bill or write the check at least the night we get it.
That's a good rule.
Yeah.
I think automating your payments too. Like not everything. So like I got my house just like recently sprayed for termites, and like of course I like shove a paper bill in my
Like
door.
mailbox? Yeah.
Like it was literally in my door, and I could barely read it, of course. But I mean, I think for the most part, anything that you have that you can automate your bills.
Yes. If you can go in.
Here's the deal. Things wouldn't be paid on my end if I didn't have like automatic withdrawal on them.
Yeah.
And I know lots of people kind of like to still write checks and pay it manually or whatever, but I'm just swipe it out of my account.
Yeah,
but I keep an eye on it, Jill.
Right.
Because it could be wrong.
Right. And that's another thing too, is if you're going back and reviewing and make sure the bills and the withdrawals or automatic withdrawals match the bills, because there's some people make mistakes. Happens all the time. And if you're paying it right away, you're paying the bills before the end of the month, you'll never have a late fee.
Yeah.
Never have a late fee. It'll never carry over.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Who wants a late fee? I mean, that's irritating. That reminds me, I need to update my expired credit card on all my automated bills right now.
That's so funny because my credit card, I just got the credit card. It's expired in March, and then my debit card also expired in March.
I did the same thing. We're on the same financial cycle, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But I probably can't shop anywhere right now
You're
with my
cut off.
expired
You're
cards.
cut off, yeah.
Which could be a good thing. Maybe
I think my
just
Wi-Fi
my
is
no
currently
spend
like
March.
not working right now. So yeah, I need to update that. So maybe that's another thing we'll add in here. Check if any of your cards are expired or if you need to connect some new bank accounts to some things, because
For sure.
there's always something to be done with your finances. But yeah, pay your bills, people.
Yep.
The next one is check your savings progress. So I think obviously at the end of a month and then going into a new month, it's kind of like, well, what do you want out of your finances, right? And a lot of people do want to save money. And so check out last month's savings. Like, were you able to save any money? Did you go over what you actually make in a month? If you did, you missed out on some savings for that month.
Right. Things happen all the time, and you can plan and plan and plan for how much you want to save. But like we said, things come up. So reevaluate. Maybe it's going to take you a little longer to reach your goal, for your savings goal. So, but before the end of the month, you can readjust and set the next month, which looks and feels a little bit more tangible.
And I think it's okay to reevaluate how you're saving money. I know we did an episode of 5 different savings challenges or whatever, but I think some people feel so tied to maybe like a certain dollar amount or percentage of their paycheck. Well, it's like what you're saying. If you just can't make it work that month, I mean, save $10.
Yeah.
Just do what you can, because at least you're still saving.
Every extra bit, every dollar that you can save is a dollar your future self will thank you for. And I think with budgeting, we get so afraid of failing. And so we resist budgeting at all because we're afraid of that failure.
It's like going on a diet.
Yeah.
If you're mad because you ate a bag of Cheetos one night, well, get up and go to the gym the next day.
Or it can be the next bite, the next dollar, the next day. It doesn't have to be like you failed today, so start again tomorrow. It can be like immediately. We get so stuck on this fear of failure, and then it's all or nothing. But with budgeting, you really have to just be able to reassess, and don't count yourself as a failure if you don't save as much this month as you wanted to. Mm-hmm. You can always start with the next day or the next month.
That'll preach. That's good.
So the next thing on our end of the month checklist is set new financial goals for the upcoming month. So kind of just reapplying what we just said, set new financial goals and write them down. I think writing a goal down for your next month, or having something tangible in front of you to remember what your new financial goal is for the next month, there's something true to seeing something visual.
I mean, I do think I don't know, Ashley doesn't know the statistics about it, but it is like 100% you're going to get your goal achieved. No. Yeah. It is a higher amount though. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Write your goals down. What do you want for the month? Just type it in your notes app. Make it your home screen.
Right.
No.
Or even sharing your financial goals with somebody else. There's something also about that accountability too.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. I'm like, Jill, I don't know what to do with this money, or like, I don't know what I want to do with my money. So just even having a conversation with a friend, like, what do I want to do? And I feel like we get so stuck from like month to month. I feel like I keep saying that, but
yeah,
I don't know. A month is just a good picture to start with.
Well, and what great conversations to have with your friends or your coworkers then, this is something I'm really working towards. It's something to relate to them about, like, how are you doing on your savings goal for your vacation or your savings goal for whatever it might be? Like that is how you relate to people even.
I mean, I had a 2-hour conversation on the phone a couple weeks ago with one of my friends, and she's like talking about her student loans, but then she's talking about, I want to buy this quilted jacket that's $80. And I'm like, hey, let's like plug in the math. What if you spent $80 towards your student loans every month? Like, I don't know, just having those conversations. I'm just saying one topic about, her month and her student loans, like turned into this 2-hour long conversation. So,
well, and then you can be mindful as a friend too. Well, maybe we're not going to go shopping. We can go for a walk as a friend instead of, so I'm going to help you realize your financial goals and we're going to work towards that together.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing this is kind of like squirrel, but like, it's amazing what, as consumers, like what we are willing to spend on stuff that truly doesn't add that much value to our lives. But when it comes to setting a certain price on like debt or doing things that don't feel that glamorous or fun in the moment, we like resist it so much.
I know.
But if you would just lean into that and be disciplined in that for a while and get out of that debt, then you can like feel more comfortable spending money on the quilted jacket. I keep saying, if you're a girl right now, you want a quilted jacket. They're just cute. They're just like,
they're so cute. Yeah.
But yeah, squirrel. Anyway, set your goals.
Set your financial goals and share them.
Get out of debt.
Yeah.
Get out of student debt. Okay. The next one is review your budget. And while that is kind of like setting your financial goals, I think goals give you a bigger picture of what you want for the month, but then a budget helps you itemize things and like make things realistic.
Yeah. I think with a budget, how it's different from setting your like major financial goals is it's a starting off point. Budget's your starting point. Where you end up and how close to your goals is kind of the end of the month thing. So like you can start your new month with that budget, and then how close did you get to those goals is more towards the end. So it's a little, in my mind, that's how I see it. But
they just kind of work together.
Yeah.
They're different, but they're the same.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a place to start budgeting, my favorite budget is the 50-30-20. So it's save 50% of your income on your needs. So 50% of what you earn goes towards your needs. 30% goes on all the things you want.
Okay, and then 30%er.
I'm a 30%er, and then 20% on savings and debt repayment.
My budgets fluctuate month to month. Yeah. It just depends on what I like. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to buy clothes this month. And sometimes I'm like super strict. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been spending some money lately. I've bought some curtains. I've been on Amazon.
Something you have done this month that you never do. You never do this. You're not
I've been a splurger big time.
You're not a big clothes shopper either, where I like to spend money on
I was like, I could see my ankles in the snow on snow day. And I was like, why don't I have long jeans? And then I felt really like insecure about my outfits.
She went on H&M and bought a bunch of cute stuff.
I went shopping.
Which is so fun.
But I feel better now. I feel like it was worth it.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like
that.
And
it's okay to splurge once in a while because you are so disciplined in how you spend. So,
but I always like try to sell, like before I start clothes shopping, I always try to sell a bunch of clothes on Poshmark, and it's just like the biggest waste of time. So
it's so hard. Why is it so hard? No one buys my stuff on Poshmark.
Wants to buy stuff on Poshmark.
It's so much work.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm having a yard sale if you guys want to come to it this spring.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to make more money to put into my budget this year. So I'm bringing it back around.
Okay.
I'm making this all make sense, guys. So yeah.
The next thing on your end of the month checklist should be to check out your credit score. Monitor your credit score. Check out your credit scores on all 3 of the credit bureaus.
Yeah. It's so easy to check your credit score.
Yeah.
You can do it through, if you have a credit card, check out I know I haven't discovered, so mine says the FICO score, but get on annualcreditreport.com.
Yes.
That's the legitimate website. Or like Jill said, you can go through any of the, what are they called?
Credit bureaus.
Credit bureaus to check your credit score. And I think that's a major thing to do at the end of the month.
I agree. Now,
lots of reasons.
I mean, we've spent almost 9 months this year talking about how terrible fraud is. Like, monitor your credit score, check it out, make sure that nobody else is using it against you.
But not only fraud, you can look at it and see, why did it go down this month? Why did it go up this month? If that's one of your goals, one of your financial goals. So it's not always about saving money.
No,
it's about maybe improving your credit score is a part of your financial goals for the month. And so that's obviously something very important to check.
Yes.
I remember mine went down that one time and I was like, whew,
right. Gave you a heart attack. Or if you're looking to make a big move sometime soon, like you're looking to buy a house this spring, now's the time to start checking your credit or monitoring that every month so you know that you're at the highest credit score possible before you have to apply for those loans.
Right.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. The next one is kind of another plan for your future one, but it's a bigger plan. So it's about planning for your investments in your retirement accounts.
Right.
What are you allocating towards that? You know, do you need to make a Roth contribution that month? You know, looking at the fiscal year, I am so passionate about investing. Like I love it. I think it's hindsight's 2020. And when you turn around and look, you're like, I wish I would have just put more in the market. And when or into my retirement, or I wish I would have bumped up 2% more for my 401k, whatever it is. I think looking at your investments as a whole, and then like that big picture into the future, you know, when do you want to retire? What do you want your retirement account to look like when you're that age? I think just at the end of the month, even like getting on a financial calculator, an investment calculator, and looking out, well, how do I do this month?
Right, exactly. And maybe you need to rebalance your portfolio. Like maybe it's time that you need to change some things up. And that can happen a lot can happen in the market month to month. Yeah. So it might be time to make some different adjustments that are more in line with where you're going or what you are wanting out of your investment accounts.
Absolutely.
I think that's a big one. And any extra contribution you can make at the end of the month, how great.
Right.
This next thing on the checklist is declutter your finances. And I think at the end of the month, this is awesome. Don't wait until tax season rolls around to get your stuff in order. Do it at the end of each month. So grab your receipts from the month, organize them, get them in their little file folders, whatever you need to do. Get organized now so it's not such a pain in the behind at the end of the year when it's time to comes time to do your taxes, which we're all kind of feeling the stress of that right now.
I know. I'm thinking I just did mine yesterday and I was like,
where's all my stuff?
Yeah. And thankfully a lot of it's digital, but like, buddy, just trying to get all that information together. It is.
But it's much easier to get organized at the end of each month than it is to wait until 4, 5, 6 months go by and then you're stressing, trying to get stuff to your accountant, whatever it looks like for you. But declutter your finances.
Yeah, I even think about, and you mentioned this earlier, and we say this, but subscriptions, I think at the end of the month too, when I hear declutter, it's kind of like, okay, what are things that I'm paying for that I really like don't use or I shouldn't be paying for? I think I have some subscriptions that I don't want to be paying for right now. And thankfully my credit card isn't working on those. So
is this the time where it's the time where you're not going to give them your new?
Get like the fattest late bill ever on like Apple Music. Don't come after me, please.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But that's what I think about when I think decluttering my finances.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what am I just like observing it from a whole, like, what am I spending money on? Thankfully I'm not that bad, but
it's not for you. It's not just the receipts and the bills, like the hard copies. It's like more of that in your mind, back of your mind kind of a thing. Yeah.
But I'm thinking about you even like you declutter your finances when you pay that bill. Yeah. Every time it gets to your house. Like me,
get rid of it.
I didn't pay this termite bill for like it was just like a week, but it was weighing on me. Yeah. I'm telling you that some of that stuff too just adds like physical stress. You're like, you have something to do. So it's just like, gosh, get it done.
I know.
Clean it up.
Get it off that checklist.
Yeah. So I think end of the month, Jill, cleaning up your finances, reviewing all of it. Do it. Sit down with a friend.
Yeah. And we've talked about this so many times on our podcast before, but I really think the end of the month is the perfect time to make that date with yourself, to sit down and spend an hour looking through your finances and just getting reacquainted with what's going on. So then you can plan for the future a little bit more. But if you don't take the time, then
yeah. I think it's, I never thought about it that way when you say like reacquainted with your finances. It's something that we do and use every single day. But sometimes if you don't, and I imagine it kind of, we've purchased some spreadsheets, some like financial trackers before. And it's amazing when you plug all this stuff in, you're like, is that who I want to be?
Right.
Like, does this reflect what I'm going for in my financial goals? So if it's not,
it's time to reevaluate. Yep.
Reacquaint yourself with your finances.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this checklist gives people a starting point, something they can do at the end of the month when they do make that appointment with themselves to sit down and look at it. So not a long list, but a few good items that sometimes we forget about.
Yeah. We're going to start having
the credit one. That's for me. Just need to look at that. Good one.
We're going to start doing it every month.
Yeah, we should.
We will.
Coffee date out of the office.
Fine by me.
I love it. Well, this has been fun, Ashley. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you next week. So, Jill, where do we go from here?
Be sure to check out our show notes for this episode, and also be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our newsletter. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.